Pay match positive pay accounts and teller window positive pay. These are the positive pay services on steroids, some of the more recent developments that provide enhanced protection for your accounts. Are they right for you?
What is teller window positive payment?
Teller window positive pay is a service that banks offer that provides a stopgap between the traditional process that can leave an organization or the bank exposed. In traditional positive payment, the assumption is that checks will clear other banks and then be presented through a normal check clearing process. This allows them to match those up and compare those, and the bank has the right to return those checks that are for stop pays or fraudulent items within a particular window. The challenge comes in when banks are presented over the counter to a bank with positive pay. If they don't have teller window positive pay, there's no distinction or identification that check was not issued and therefore may be cleared, and then the bank cannot return it to another institution because it was presented to themselves. Pay match positive pay allows that bank to check your issue file at the teller window and either catch or reject those items at that point.
Who should use teller window positive payment?
Well, banks should use that. Anyone adding positive pay to their disbursement accounts should use a bank that has teller window positive pay. Not every organization is issuing checks where they might be walked in over the counter to that bank. However, teller window positive pay is certainly something banks are going to want to add to their service, and as you select a bank for positive pay, you'll want them to have that capability as well. Pay match positive pay is a fairly recent development where, in addition to matching off checks based off on check amount, check serial number, and that type of information, it also adds the optical character recognition of who the check was made out to. So in addition to sending the basic check information, the payee is also sent to the bank. The bank will further match the checks that are presented against the payee field and then provide one other method of identifying differences. This is helpful for those situations where someone has used acid washing on a check to remove the payee name and retype in someone else's name on a legitimate check that you have issued. Since it's a legitimate check, that check can clear on traditional positive pay if it's not picked up by some other method. On this graphic, you can see the traditional check with a little bit more cartoon characters associated with this. On traditional positive pay, certain information will be sent, such as check number, bank account, and ABA, or the bank number information, will be sent. So the bank can match on dollar and other data that's transmitted across.
Who should use it?
Well, I think organizations, particularly those that send them to lots of consumers or individuals, will want to consider pay match positive pay. It's not a small step to move from positive pay to pay match positive pay because your file is going to contain additional information, and you have to make sure that the testing of that file works out appropriately. There can be issues of your system may have the first name and then the last name, or last name and then the first name. It can be separated by commas. There's other issues as well, but you're going to want to work out those process steps to make sure that when you use that type of service, it can be effectively put to use for your type of payments.
What are the issues concerning setup in OCR?
Well, setup in OCR for something like pay match positive pay has to do with the fact that you now need to transmit not just the bank account number, the check number, the dollar amount of the transaction, but you also need to send, in the proper format for the bank, the information about the payee name. That information is essential that the match would occur appropriately. Mixing some of these up or having commas in between them can sometimes cause problems at the point of setup, and it's important that those are established and worked out appropriately.
What should I remember about pay match positive pay and teller window positive pay?
Well, regarding those as well as positive pay in general, it's very important to remember that you do not want to close the barn door after the horses escape. You want to have the right types of control on your accounts that you've decided ahead of time and have those implemented before you have problems. It's much easier, much more rewarding. These services are appropriate for any type of account protection and cash protection plan that you have. You need to understand, of course, what these offer, to your accounts and what your banks can provide to help you protect your accounts and make your financial processes more efficient.